Hello everyone, today I have my Madoka deck for you today. We run pretty much cards from every single set that's been out from there. So let's get into it. Starting with the mobile game set, we run 4 copies of Maki. Her effect on play, you're able to look at the top card of your deck and be able to either keep it on top or put it onto the bottom of the deck. And it's same when this card gets reversed. However, when you're level 2 or higher, while this card's on the field, you're able to send it to stock to play a card called Kazumi from hand, but we do not play Kazumi at all, so this card just becomes a free stock generator. And for the end game, it actually allows your finisher to be a 3-1 effectively, and we'll get into that more later. Next copy we run 4 of is also from the mobile game set. We run 4 copies of Loyalty towards Arliko Kirkia. On play, you reveal the top card. If it's a magic, it becomes a marker underneath this card, and this card gets plus 1/5 and a level, making it one of your 3/5 beaters, and also being level 1s, so it's harder to get off the field with your opponent playing any bombers or field removal for the early game. From the most recent set, the Madoka Magica TV anime, the Magia set, we run 3 copies of Comrades of Mizuzuki Villa Surno. This, while you have 2 or less stock, it gains plus 1/5, as well as an on-play effect. It's on play, pay 1, discard 1 to search for any magical character, a good way to hand fix, and also a very good level 0 beater. Another card from the Magia anime set is we run Frolicking Iroha. This card's effect is on play. We pay 1, clock 1 to search for any level 1 or lower character, and when this card attacks, you give another character plus 500. Overall, very useful card to keep in your deck and keep that hand size healthy for the early game. And to our main brainstormer, we run 2 copies of Advice on Present Iroha. This is also from the Magia set, and this is a very strong brainstormer because at the beginning of your main phase, you're able to look at the top card and keep it on top and put it into a waiting room, effectively milling out cards for free and allowing better success to have this brainstorm hit. It's also a rest 2 characters to brainstorm, so meaning you can actually loop with your Karus. If you're level 2 or higher, you rest 2 of them, you do your brainstorm, you can send both of them into stock and still go on your turn as you please. So very useful to have it as a rest 2, which a lot of decks kind of don't utilize. They utilize the rest 1 just to give more instances, but Madoka has ways to just enable that. The last copy we run from the Magia anime set is raring to go Felicia. This is on play, you reveal the top. If it's a magic character, you add to hand, discard 1, and when this card gets reversed, if you have 2 or less in memory, you're able to send this to memory, giving you some little free compression right there. Now going on to the level 1, which is from the Magia anime set. We run 4 copies of Comrades Mikazuki Villa Felicia. This is a very strong card, even though its Climax combo requires you to get a reverse off. Just during your turn, it's a free 7k beat stick. Very strong and powerful. Its Climax combo, which is paired with the reason for becoming a magical girl. On reverse, you're able to salvage a character. And if you want to try and get more cards into your hand, you're able to then pay 1 to reveal the top card. If it's a magic character, you add it to hand. If not, it just goes back into the waiting room. Oh, and yeah, so it actually puts it into the waiting room if you fail that coin flip. So, new things you learn. I've been playing it where it just sits back on top of the deck. Next, so very awkward there. We play 3 copies from the mobile game set. Sworn Promise Homura. Her effect is if you have 2 or more others, it becomes 5/5, and at the beginning of either attack step, you target 1 card on your center stage of the field, and if all character levels are the same, it gains the ability when one of your other characters is frontaled. You're able to pay 1 and send this card to waiting room to bounce that character that's getting frontaled. So some good way to keep some recursion and cards that you may want to keep in your hand and from losing them. Back to the mobile anime, the anime set. We play 1 copy of Everyone's Own Feelings Iroha. Its second effect, which will start off because it's easier. You rest this card to give one of your other characters +1/5 until end of turn. And its first effect is you pay 1 to send this card to the waiting room, and you look up to the top 4 cards and add a magic character. A way to keep some control of your deck in case if you get into bad deck states where all your climaxes are in the waiting room. This is a free way to extend that play. Then from the very first set from Madoka Magica, we run 1 copy of Magical Girl Bows, Madoka. It's a 1/1. If your stock is 4 or more, this card gets +1000. We realistically run this for the decks that try to run cards that are 1/1s that say your card cannot be reversed for 1 by any of your cost zeros. So most of the time this card's not going to see play. This is more of a tech option. And the original printing of this card is just an R and a regular SR. I managed to go to convention and be able to meet the English voice actor for it and got her to sign this card, so it's pretty cool. One of the signatures I really like a lot. Now entering the last card we run as our 1/1 counter. It's Pursuing the Truth of Rumors Ilaha. When you use this card's backup, you're able to reveal the top card. And if it's a magic character, add to hand and discard character. And it's also a 2K punch. So another way to try and force cancel out of your deck if you want to try and take those odds. Or it's a hand fix before you go into a refresh state. Starting off with the level 2s, we go back we're still on that anime set, where we run 2 copies of Certain Memories Iloha. This is what we like to call a free fresher. In this case, if you have 5 or less cards in deck, you're able to play this card. You pay 1 to play it, and you're able to refresh your deck without taking the penalty damage. As well, if you have 2 or less cards in memory, you choose one of your characters and just send it to memory, and this card gains an additional 4K, making it a good attacker into some of your opponent's early plays. Heading to the mobile game set, we run 1 copy of the Maiden's Resolve Dark. This card is a 2K sister to all your level 3s with the nifty effect of you can pay 1, send this card to memory to be able to heal. And going back to the very first set, we run 1 copy of Magical Girl of Time Homura. This card I very enjoy it's overall. Let's get into it. If you have 5 or more cards in stock, it gains +1K. And when this card gets reversed, meaning on your turn or your opponent's turn, you're able to discard a magic card from your hand and put this card into memory. At the beginning of your next turn, you're able to call this card back out from memory onto the field, giving you access to a 2-soul beater that's very hard to deal with. So if you know your opponent has a bunch of on reverse effects on their turn and tries to power play you, you're able to kind of get around with that by intentionally crashing and sending this card to memory and not losing that much momentum off it. Now entering the 3-step. With our main climax finisher, we go to the Madoka Rebellion set, the last set we have not really talked about in this deck. But we run the Homura finisher, which is the clock kicker. For Madoka's sake Homura, we run 4 copies. On play, on this card's play, you're forced to rest one of your cards, and then you draw 2, drop 2, or draw 2 cards, discard 1, and with its climax combo, which is the Truth of Barriers, which is a gold bar, so most of the time you will be seeing at least 1 copy to get the kill in. While this card attacks, if Truth of the Barriers in your climax zone, it gains plus 2k, and the ability, if this card gets a successful reverse, you can send that opponent's character into clock. So by itself, without any boost modifiers, it's 13k, which makes it very decently strong for a finisher. With your backliners, this could get up to 15k very easily and be able to secure some pretty good wins. And another reason why I like this card a lot is for actually the draw 2, drop 2 mechanic. Draw 2, drop 1. It keeps your hand consistency high for the end game and still gives you your options if you need to get out of some bad situations. For the next level 3, we go back to the mobile game set, where we run 3 copies of Mercenaries Battle Style Felicia. If you have 2 or less climaxes in your waiting room, this becomes a level 2 in your hand. So you're able to early play this 1 level, and its other effect is it gains plus 1k for each card in your back row if it's a magic trait, making it 11k base. With the 2/1 assist, it becomes a 13, and it's also a non-play heal. A very common theme with Madoka, it loves to heal. So going more into that early play stuff, we run 2 copies of Comrades of Mikazuki Villasana. Its early play condition is slightly different, where if you control 4 other magical characters, this gets -1 level in hand, and during the turn this card gets played, it gains plus 1/5, making it 10k, but it has the other effect where this card just can't be chosen by your opponent's effects, which is starting to get more and more useful right now. Overall, with more decks getting access to cards that can affect your opponent's field without entering the attack phase of the game. And staying on that mobile anime set, this is from the mobile anime set. Along with this is also an early play healer and your other back row card that we run, which is just a generic level assist, and it also heals, so has some pretty nice utility. And if you have 2 or less cards in memory, you can choose to rest this card to send a character into memory. Just gives you some cool little utility and some extra little compression if you can't get to your 2/1 free fresh or get the raring to go Felicia off ground. And going back to the mobile game set, we run 1 copies of Guide to the Future Iloha. This is just for adding some little bit extra consistency, as its on play effect is on play you're able to choose a magic character from waiting room and add it to hand, so guaranteed salvage into a card you may need. And when this card attacks, you choose one of your other characters to give it plus 1k until end of turn, so in case if you need to secure a reverse, this card helps with that as well. And that is the deck profile for my Madoka Magica. Hope you guys all enjoyed.